How's it going? Merry Christmas. Listen, I'm super excited for this video. I actually never really thought to make this video. It was special requested from an individual that asked me not to say their name during the video, but we were having a conversation. Well, sometimes life just doesn't work out the way we expect it. As you can see, my mic died at this point, and everything I'm saying did not get recorded. So we're going to redo this. I'm going to fast forward through this and do my best to catch you up on everything I'm kind of saying here. Now, again, it's probably not going to be verbatim because I made this video in one day and now I'm going to have to remake this part on another day. So here we go. In the spirit of what we're going to talk about, we're going to try to remake this. Thanks for hanging in. I know you're sitting here going, why the heck would he leave this part in the video? Honestly, it's because rule number 3. Sometimes God's funny how he works. So watch the full video, see rule number 3, and you'll understand. Well, if you made it this far, you already know what happened. So, as I was simply stating, I had a client that requested this video. I'm not going to say their name because they asked me not to say it on this video, but let's go ahead and jump into it. First off, Merry Christmas. As you can see, the sweet Santa hat. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Today, in our conversation I was having with this, as actually a young athlete, was a personal theory that I've lived my life on and kind of weigh my decisions on. And it's called the 4f's. And these are the 4f's of life. Okay? Now, 4f's. Okay, we have faith, family, fitness, and finances. Okay, why these 4F's? Well, these are just the 4F's that apply to my life and to many others. So today though, we're going to be talking about finance and fitness. But do remember as we go along, they all connect. And that's what I found in my life through learning from mentors, reading books, doing master classes, and develop this idea that these 4F's have 4 rules that we'll talk about later in this video. And if you want to get better in one, you simply just apply the 4 rules and switch the F around. It's that simple. So what I want to talk about first off is finances, okay? And what's really interesting of finances is that, again, it goes hand in hand with fitness. And the theory that I've always had on finances actually comes through investing. And when we talk about investing, our main goal is what? To make our money work for us, right? Or else there's no reason to invest. Why invest if I'm gonna have to keep working and working and working and working and nothing ever happens, right? So our idea, or at least the idea that I believed in with finances, is to get to the point where your investments make you money without you having to do anything, make your money work for you, right? Now, the thing that I've noticed and the problem is that if you ask Jimmy what the best investments is, he'll tell you real estate. If you ask John, he'll tell you, go build a business. If you ask Jackson, he'll say, hey, you got to invest in the stock market. If you ask Cassandra or Sandy or, everybody's got different ways to invest, and this is the new big thing. Dude, stop. There's no right answer. It's what works for you. You have to figure out what investment strategy is going to work for you, your finances, your lifestyle, and stop chasing other people's dreams. Figure out your dream, figure out your finances. Now listen, I am not trying to be a financial expert. This is just what I've done with my life and what has worked, okay? Same thing goes for fitness though. As you know, if you watch this channel, if you follow along with me, if you train with me, you know that I am a coach, I am a nutritionist, I am about all things health and fitness, so is my family, okay? So when it comes to fitness, it's the same thing. You've seen V-Shred over here telling you one thing, you've seen Kali Muscle, all these guys that are in amazing shape, they're great people, they're doing another, and then you see, my point is that everybody has something that works for them. You have to figure out what works for you. And the only way to do it is to try. And you're going to fail, but you have to try again. Okay, it's the same thing across the board. So when we talk about these things, one common thing with fitness and finance and faith and family is you have to start small. Okay, now I'm gonna switch over here to fitness a little bit more because again, this is my realm, this is my world, this is what I live, eat, sleep, and breathe. The most common thing that I see with fitness, especially right now, is focusing too much on the 10% and not enough on the 90%. And what I mean by that is eating quick meals. And so it's this idea of let's handle the large things first, and then once that's set, worry about the other stuff. Now, another way of this in the health and fitness world for anybody out there that's a coach or has taken this health journey on is the pyramid, right? So we always start with the baseline of movement. Let's get your body moving first, right? And this is where a lot of people fall short when it comes to fitness is, we want to think of the fastest way to get there. Well, back to finances. You make a fast dollar, that dollar burns up really quick, right? It's the long-term dollar that lasts the longest. And that's the thing with finances, right? What is a great finance is when you don't have to worry about money anymore, right? That's our goal of finances, is to get our finances to work for us, to get your dollar to work for you. This is where investing comes into play, right? We invest into real estate, the real estate grows, and now our dollar that we put in is now working for us. It's the same thing with health and fitness, right? We want to get our body to the point where it starts burning up calories by itself. How do we do that? We do that through muscle, through losing body fat. Now, the problem with that is the quicker you do it, the lower the metabolism goes, okay? And this is where we see things like these high deficit diets, right? Whenever we drop 1,000 calories plus off of our diet, and we do see these huge initial weight loss. That's great, and for some people it's medically needed, right? If you have a super high BMI, you have a chronic disease issue, or you are hundreds of pounds overweight, yes, we need to get that weight off as quick as we can. However, the problem is that by doing that, you are also damaging your metabolism. And we see this in things like the GLP-1s, for instance. Amazing. There's no better approach on the market today for a quicker result than a GLP-1. I'm not going to argue with that. What I am going to argue with is the longevity of that. I'm not saying don't. It's a great jump start, especially for us that are trying to get the weight off just so we can actually move, so that we don't have these joint pains, these movement pains, things like that. It's a great option. However, you have to do everything else, right? And this is where I'm going with that pyramid, is it has to start with movement. If you're not moving, if you're not taking that first step, and moving can be simply as getting extra steps throughout the day. It can be simple as, burning up a little bit more calories. However, I would state in this point of fact, that a good investment requires building muscle. Because muscle is what is going to burn up the calories. For every pound of muscle that you put on or fat you transfer for muscle, you're going to burn an extra 50 calories, therefore raising your metabolism. You can see things like this with an RMR scan, a DEXA scan, an in-body scan. If you have any interest in doing anything like that, if you go over and check out Supplify, you can go ahead and DM me directly. This is what we do. We do these lab testing, we do these analytics, along with VO2 max, HRVs, lab testings, blood work. So these are ways that you can see what your metabolism is and how it's growing. But back to my point is we start with movement. Then we get into nutrition. And nutrition, again, start simple. Whole foods. It's not, we don't have to do these huge diets and these big caloric deficits and, what's the best way? And dude, start with whole food, know what your metabolism is, right? You have to know that. You have to know where your metabolism is, because you can't just guess. You can't be like, okay, well, I'm eating 1,500 calories now. I want to lose weight. I'll eat 1,000 calories. Well, that's great. But your RMR, your resting metabolic rate, or even your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, could be 2,000. And you're already at a 500 caloric deficit. So if you drop it even lower, now you're just damaging your metabolism, right? And so these are where we find these results falling off, is this not having the correct starting point. I would recommend getting an RMR so that you know your actual resting metabolic rate. Then you can plug your TEE, your total energy expenditure, into that and have a caloric intake of what your body actually needs, and then you can properly get your nutrition based off of that. Now, once we have the movement, then the nutrition, the top supplements and recoveries and tools and things like this, that's the top 10%. I mean, really, that's the top 10%. Now, this is where I also go with back to the food dyes and additives, right? These are things that, yes, I am not arguing being a nutritionist, I will tell you, yes, we do see some very, very big damaging aspects of this. However, if you're not gonna do the major stuff, the 80%, the 90%, why are you worrying about the 10%? Get the 90% right, 80% right, then worry about the 10, 20%, okay? Same thing as we plug back into finances. Get the 80% right, make sure that you understand your spending, make sure you have a budget, right? Make sure you know how to save, make sure you know how to earn, right? These are things that we should be taught and we should be teaching our kids, and this is where this video came from, is, again, one of my young athletes and I were having this conversation, and these are just the conversations that we have. And so these are the basics of finances and the basics of fitness. And they go hand in hand, they connect. Same thing goes for faith and family, right? We can start with the basics and grows up. So I have 4 rules for these 4 F's. And what's really interesting is, again, if you want to get better at any point or any F's of the life, the same 4 rules apply. You just plug and play. But we're going to stick with finances again because that's pretty much what everybody wants, right? The more finances we have, the happier we become. And I want to take a point here and just simply say, money does buy happiness, but it's not through materialistics, okay? Money can buy happiness, and this is what I think a lot of people forget, or maybe not forget, but simply just don't realize or want to say or want to be present about because it's not hip, right? It's not a good thing to say. It's not the Christian way. But money does buy happiness. You want to be a helpful person in today's world, the more money you have, the more help you can give, right? We're supposed to give 10% of our tithes to the church. Well, if you don't have 10% to give, what are you going to do? You have to pay your bills, you have to feed your family, right? You have to live to get to work and do these things, and if you don't have money, how are you going to do anything else to give back? So I just wanted to simply say that in my belief, in my personal life, money does buy happiness. It will, but it's not through materialistic things. Happiness isn't going to be found in a Lamborghini. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going to feel real happy for, the 45 minutes that you go drive that thing around. And then after the 5th or 6th time you get in it, it gets repetitive. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be awesome to own a Lamborghini. I'm simply saying that money buys happiness, but it's not through materialistic things, right? So, 4 points of the 4 F's. Number 1, okay? You are who you surround yourself by, okay? Or you are the average. Okay? You're the average of the people you surround yourself by. So if you want more finances, if you want a more fruitful life, go hang out with more fruitful people. Simple as that. Okay? Stop taking advice from people that are under you. Granted, some of you may be watching this video and you're looking at me and you're going, okay, well, I'm not going to take your advice. By all means. By all means, if I'm not where you want to be, go find somebody better than me. I highly suggest it. Right? Rule number 1, upgrade your circle, upgrade your average. And I tell all of my athletes this, dude, you're falling short at practice, you're falling short in life, you're falling short in your school, you're falling short at home, whatever it may be, look at your surroundings. You are a product of your environment. What environment are you in? And this is a really interesting thought, because I have worked with, in the past, some athletes that didn't really have a choice, or kids that didn't have a choice in their surroundings. Dude, if you don't have a choice, I had to do this in my life at one point as well. Back off of everything. Because if you have 0 people in your surroundings, it's you and God. And you can't get much better than that, right? If it's only you and God, and you're the average, that's a pretty solid average, in my opinion. Now, you can't stay there. It takes others, right? We are called in fellowship. It takes fellowship to grow. So, find, if you need to step back, empty out your surroundings, make it you and God, go back to the other F, let's build faith, right? Build our connection, and then we can lead on from there. So, Don't ever say, we can't say, I can't control my surroundings, I can't control my environment. No, you can't. You can't. It may suck, it may hurt, but there are ways to do it. Simple as that. And that goes with everything else, right? If you want better finances, dude, I'm in so much debt, okay? Take the Dave Ramsey snowball effect. Snowball that bad boy, right? You're gonna have to suffer for months, maybe years, but eventually you get out, okay? Romans 5:3-4 tells us, we rejoice in our suffering, knowing that suffering builds endurance, endurance builds character, and character builds hope. Now, on that note, builds hope. If you don't wake up in the morning with hope, what are you waking up for, right? This is the thing. If we don't have hope, what is our life? So you have to create hope. So we rejoice in our suffering. If it's suffering to build better finances, if it's suffering on Sunday morning to get to church, or Wednesday night to get to a group, or Monday night to get to whatever it may be in your faith, if it's suffering to go to the gym so you have a better fitness level, if it's suffering, right, because you worked all day long and you're exhausted and the last thing you want to do is go home and deal with the kids and hang out with the wife and do the house chores, guess what? Suffering builds endurance. Endurance to do it again. Endurance to keep going. Endurance to push forward one more time. Okay? Endurance builds character. Who are you? Who are you willing to be? Who are you going to be for your kids, for the next generation, for the stranger walking down the street that doesn't have hope that day? What's your character? And your character will create hope in yourself. So, let's go ahead and move on to the second point. So rule number one, you are the average of the people you surround yourself by. Rule number 2, consistency wins. Okay, now this comes back again to finances, fitness, family, 4f's. Every single time, these rules apply. No matter what F you want to build in your life, apply the 4 rules, okay? So, let's talk about finances because that's our topic, right? Consistency wins. If you're consistently investing or saving or whatever it may be, that wins way more than one huge chunk of change, right? And if you know anything about compound interest, then you understand consistency wins, right? So if our money is compounding over time, is a lot better than investing one big lump sum and pulling it right back out, okay? Now, where this is a great idea, and this is something I heard from a mentor, is the billionaire's wisdom, right? Billionaire wisdom, if you have $400,000 to invest in a house or into something like the S&P 500 that has a yearly return average between 8 to 10, right? We take $400,000, we buy a $400,000 house, right? It's all paid off, we have our mortgage, everything else. By the time you sell that house, you're looking at 1.7, right? It kind of depends on where you live, what the idea is, how much that house growth is. But when we invest $400,000 into something like the S&P 500, something that grows at a consistent rate, even though we're taking out a debt for the house, that rate, because it compounds, becomes more than if you were just to buy the house outright. Without having a calculator in front of me, doing the numbers, everything like that. I'm not a math whiz. I'm not here to tell you I'm an investing expert. I'm here to talk about the 4F's of life and how to live a more fruitful life. So that compounding, that consistency in investments, whether it's for faith, family, fitness, or finance, wins every single time. Much better than a big sprint, right? Now let's talk about fitness, right? Again, we're talking about faith, fitness, and finances as a great 2 examples. Fitness is the same thing, right? We are in December. This is the hot time for my industry, right? Any of you trainers out there, gym owners out there, let's get going, right? Here we go. But for real, this is the time we look forward to every single year, because what happens in January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, right? First week of January, our sale rates go through the roof. Because what? New Year's, new me, right? New Year's, new me. And we get these huge flush of people that come in and this is my year. This is, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. and they start their year off hot, man. We are talking about huge nutrition. We're talking about, I'm going from 2,000 calories to 1,200 calories. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm gonna do, the carnivore diet, right? Like, we get all of these huge things, whether it be through training or through nutrition, whatever it may be. And, January rolls around, February comes, and most of the people aren't there no more. Simple fact. And maybe you, not a big deal. But what the problem with this is there's no consistency. There's no long-term approach. There's no investing every day into your health and your fitness. It's this big push. It's this huge drop, right? I'm gonna do it with no consistency. So consistency is number 2. Little wins create big success. Don't worry about, okay, I'm trying to make, $700 today, or thousands of dollars, or millions of dollars, or whatever it may be in your life. Same thing goes for fitness, right? I'm not gonna come in and, I'm gonna train for 3 hours today, and I'm gonna go on this huge diet. Dude, don't do that. Small wins create big successes. Same thing with family. You feel like you're losing connection with your kid? You feel like you're losing connection with your parent? Feel like you're losing connection with a sibling? Don't go all out. Don't show up tomorrow and give them a big hug and kiss and do all these things and oh my God, that's suspicious. Don't be suspicious, all right? A little suspicious. Anybody got siblings out there? When your sister or brother start doing things like that, we know. I got 3 older sisters. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they're watching this video, they already know. They do something big like that for me, I'm like, don't be suspicious, right? When's that phone call coming? Hey, I need this. So don't do that, right? We do little things. When you get home, take out the trash for mom and dad, right? Do the dishes for your wife. Fold some laundry. Do little things every day to show that you care and you love your family. And for God, it's the same thing. God doesn't want us one day on our knees begging Him and praying to Him and reading our Bible and doing all these things and, oh my God, glory to God, and then the next day we don't do anything, right? Great option there, daily devotions. Start with a daily devotion. Start with something small. And if you need that, this is The Game Within. This is a book that I wrote for athletes and parents and coaches and anybody in this health and fitness world. What it does is it relates scripture to athletics and health, and then athletics and health to life. So it's a great option. You don't want that, don't buy it. This isn't something for me to tell you to buy my stuff. I'm just trying to give you an option because I care about you. I care about what we're doing here. So find what works for you. Back to the beginning of this video. This may not be for you. It may not. Go get something that does work for you because this isn't everybody's answer, okay? You have to find your answer and don't stop until you do. And guess what? Just because something works for a little bit doesn't mean it's gonna work for always. But what you can do, you can stay consistent in your search for success. I'm gonna stop there, else I'll keep going. This is gonna become like an hour-long video. Okay, number 3. $10, okay? I call this a $10 rule. $10 means nothing to 42 million. Now, if you've ever heard this theory, this actually isn't mine. I picked it up again from a mentor. I love this, right? This is what it's all about, learning from others. So what this is, 10 million means nothing to 42 million. You know what 42 million is? 42 million is how many minutes you have in your life. If you live to be 80 years old, you get 42 million minutes. That's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. No do-overs, no repeats, no, oh, I messed up, let me go back. No, that's it. That is it. 42 minutes, if you live to 80, if you're blessed enough to live to 80, you get 42 million minutes. Then you're done. If you live past that, congratulations, right? But $10 means nothing to $42 million. 10 minutes means nothing to 42 minutes. 42 million minutes. But yet, on the way to traffic, somebody cut you off and it ruined your entire day. On the way to the gym, you were gonna do chest day and somebody was taking up all the bench presses. So now you decided, F this, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. Maybe you got home and the kids had a bad day. Mom was, upset, whatever. Someone in your family said something that you didn't agree with. They made you mad, whatever. 10 minutes means nothing to 42 million minutes. Stop letting it affect your life, okay? Stop letting these 10 minutes that didn't work out for you affect the rest of your life. Now, I want to take a note here. I am no better. Please don't think I'm saying these things to say that, blah, blah. No, I am the same as you. We are both humans. We both make mistakes. These are 4 rules that I apply to my life. They're rules. That doesn't mean I don't break them. That doesn't mean you're not going to break them. But rule number 2, consistency wins. So just because you mess up today, start right back up tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Start right back up the next second. It doesn't matter. Consistency wins. Small wins lead to big successes. So today you let the 10 minutes affect the rest of your life. So what? So what? Get back to it tomorrow. 10 minutes, $10 means nothing to $42 million. 10 minutes means nothing to 42 million minutes. So don't let the 10 minutes affect your life. Number 4, and we kind of already went over this, but never lose hope. Simple as that. Never lose hope. And all that means is just like we talked about. Romans 5:3-4. Suffering, we rejoice in our suffering, knowing that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. So you want a better life, you want to be better in finances, you want more finances, you want a better fitness life, you want a better family, you want better and stronger faith with our Lord and Savior, better your character. Invest in yourself, okay? Take time for you. Now, I'm sure if you've seen any of my videos, you've trained with me, you've been around me, you've heard me say that if you don't invest in you, you can never invest into others, okay? Just like when we're on a plane and the plane's going down, what do they tell you? Put your air mask on first so you can help somebody else, okay? You've got to take care of you. And I promise you, I am telling you and myself, I am looking in a mirror right now. You got to take care of you first because it feels great to take care of other people. It gets us nice, warm, and bubbly, right? We feel like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're called to do. Well, guess what? That burns out because you know what you can't be? You can't be consistent in that. You can't. There's no way. You cannot wake up every single day and do for others without doing for yourself. You've got to take time for yourself because you will burn out. And anybody that's watching this and feels like that right now, you're not alone. I promise you. I promise you, you're not alone. Okay? It does get tiring, but you've got to take care of yourself. Okay? You have to create hope. If you lose hope in anything, finances, family, fitness, faith, if you lose hope in any of it, look back to your character. Are you being true to your character? Are you being true to who you are? Because you have struggled. Everybody's struggle looks different. My struggle looks different from yours. Your struggle looks different from mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, twice removed, 3 times. I don't know what your life looks like, but I guarantee you your suffering is different from everybody else's, but you have suffered. Even if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you've still suffered somehow. Maybe mom and dad took your allowance away, still suffering. It has built your character. Look in the mirror, look at your values, know your values. We're going to talk about that in a different video. Know your values so that you know your character, so that your character can produce hope. So when you look in the mirror, you can say, you know what? I am flat on my face, but I know who I am. I know my character. I have built a better average. I am staying consistent. I won't allow the 10 minutes affect my 42 minutes, so I can then create hope for a better future. It's not just a better future for you. If you're a parent, it's a better future for your kids, okay? If you're out here and you're a leader, it's a better future for the people that you're leading. Whatever it may be, you always have to create hope. So those are my 4F's. That's how it works. There's 4F's, 4 rules to rock and roll with it. If you like this video, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this video for somebody else to hear. If you have any comments, please drop them below. I would love to hear your input on this. Okay, now please don't go around and badger other people in the comments and things like that. I'll take them off. I don't believe in that. I want everybody to have their own opinion, but there's no reason to be nasty. So either way, again, please like, subscribe, share, comment, send it to an uncle, grandparent, whatever it may be. I don't really care. This was, again, a video dedicated to one of my clients. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna say their name. They asked me not to, so I'm gonna hold that to it. But they know who they are. Thank you for the suggestion. I hope it was to your liking. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. And until next time, I'll see you.